Hello, everyone. I hope all is well. I came on today to talk about an incident that occurred that I thought was over and done with, that I thought was settled, but I found out that it's still dragging on. February the 7th, 2019, an incident occurred, whereas I didn't get my W-2, so I went to the website, IRS website, to find out how to obtain that tax document. And it indicates on the website to contact the employer. So here it is, February the 7th. Tax information was supposed to be postmarked by the 31st. So after having not received that, I drove over to Milestones Counseling Agency. Cordial, walked in, cordial. Greeted the owner, Kimberly Hawkins, and psychologist Melanie Wheeler. And that day was pretty much a nightmare because the owner assaulted me, stole my phone. I went across the street to Shavers to contact 911, and Officer Washington shows up. He and another officer, and wrote up the report, which was theft of my phone and battery on me. And this was about 10 minutes after 4 Central Standard Time. So I'm waiting and waiting on the detective to contact me. And after a couple of weeks went by, I was contacted by Detective Joseph Bailey. And this is what the original police narrative, which Officer Washington wrote. It states, on February the 7th at approximately 16:36 hours, I, Officer Washington, he gives his badge number, was dispatched to 270 Ockley Drive in reference to a 911 hang-up. Upon arrival, made contact with a black female car who advised that she went to 3776 Uri Drive at Milestones Counseling Center to ask about her W-2 form that had not been mailed. She advised when she asked for her W-2, black female Hawkins wearing blue jeans and a white shirt, who is the owner of the business, grabbed the W-2 from behind the desk and threw it at her. Carr asked, why did she throw that? And Hawkins became outraged, came from behind the counter and shoves her, yelling, get the F up out of my building, B, and then shoves her again out of the door. Carr stated that she was rebuking Hawkins in tongues and recording her, but while recording, Hawkins grabbed her phone and throws it, then picks it up, saying, I don't have your phone. Carr advised she was in the parking lot asking for help while Hawkins got into the vehicle and drives away with her phone. Okay, officers made contact also with black female Hawkins, who came to the patrol desk wearing a gray sweatshirt. Hawkins advised that she fired Carr for fraudulent checks and harassing. Fired. That's what the patrol desk typed. Today, Carr came into the business, advised that she fired that. Hold on one second. Let me start over. Today, Carr came into the business very loud, saying, where is my W-2? You all was supposed to mail me. Hawkins advised that she grabbed the W-2 and tossed it on the front desk and asked her to leave. Hawkins stated that Carr began to get irate, yelling You all lying about the fraudulent checks. My attorney already said it. Who would say something ridiculous like that? Hawkins advised her to have her attorney call Hawkins' attorney and asked her to get out of the building. Carr then started rebuking Hawkins and speaking in tongues. Hawkins walked over to the door and pushed it open and said, "Ma'am, please get out." Really? Somebody's outraged, you gonna say, "Ma'am, please get out," but you scared. Really? When Carr pushed her and Hawkins pushed her back, Carr then ran outside screaming, "Somebody help me. I can't find my phone." Hawkins advised that she told all her workers, I'm reading what's on here, to leave. And they left the building and went home. Also, Hawkins advised that the labor board had advised Carr that she is not supposed to come on the property. Untrue, because the labor board does not give any legal advice out to anyone. And I verified that with the labor department, so that is another untruth. No paperwork was shown to the officer to verify. Officer asked Hawkins about the Galaxy Note 9 that Carr stated was stolen from her, and Hawkins advised she did not have officer check it. I'm reading what's on here. Was not on her person, and also officers met the manager and that milestone and checked the office for the phone. Okay, that was the officer's report. Okay, now up to the narrative, and I'm gonna get down to the point where Joseph Bailey is assigned this, and this is February the 15th, 2019. I was assigned this case. I read the report and saw that Sandra Carr reported on February the 7th she went to 3776 Uri Drive at Milestones Counseling Services. She was a former employee and went to collect her W-2. While there, she asked Kimberly Hawkins for the form, and Hawkins threw it at her. Hawkins then yelled for Carr to leave and cursed at her, so Carr began to rebuke in tongues. Carr reported that she was recording her with her phone. Hawkins grabbed the phone from her, got into her car, and then left. Officers then responded to SPD station to speak with Hawkins. Hawkins reported that Carr was fired for fraudulent checks and has been harassing them since then. Hawkins came to get the W-2 and came inside yelling. Hawkins stated that she tossed it on the desk and told Carr to leave multiple times. Carr began speaking in tongues and then ran outside. Hawkins told her workers to leave, so they all left. Officers inquired about the phone that Carr reported she took, and officers did not find it on her person or in the business. I contacted Hawkins and learned that Carr's name is Sandra Carr. She was fired for fraudulent checks, Medicaid fraud, and intoxicated on the job in September of 2018. Carr has been harassing them since then. They even moved buildings to avoid Carr. Carr's daughter then called and got the address. Carr came and asked for the W-2. Hawkins gave her the W-2 and told Carr to leave multiple times. Carr refused to leave the business and began speaking in tongues. Hawkins went and opened the door, and Carr pushed her, so Hawkins pushed her back. Carr went outside screaming. Hawkins was scared, so she told all of her employees to leave, and she came to the station. I asked who the witnesses were, and she stated that it was the doctor, Melanie Wheeler, the psychologist, and her boyfriend, DeMar Stanford. I asked Hawkins to have both contact me. Soon, Wheeler contacted me back. Wheeler advised that she was at work when Carr came in. She referred to Carr as a disgruntled former employee who was a different fired for being on narcotics. Carr said she was there for her 1099 and began to argue with Hawkins. Hawkins told her to leave, and Carr began speaking in tongues. Hawkins got up to leave, and Carr pushed Hawkins. She got up to leave. But remember, Hawkins said, "Ma'am, please leave." Which is it? Which story is it? Which untruth is it? Wheeler went outside to obtain the non-emergency phone number for police. Wheeler stated that Hawkins soon followed and left. Carr went into the parking lot and began screaming. I soon contacted Carr, and she came to my office to speak about the incident. I inquired about the audio recording referred to in the recording, and she stated that it was on the phone that was missing. She stated that she went into the office to get her W-2. She held up an envelope with no postage on it and referred to it not being postmarked. She stated that she asked the owner for her W-2, and she tossed it at her. The owner stood and came from behind the counter and cursed her, telling her to leave. She stated that the psychologist was standing there. She stated the owner got in her face and shoved her. The psychologist pretended like she was calling the police. The owner grabbed the phone in her hand and tossed it across the room. The owner picked up the phone and got into her face again. The owner cursed and told her again to leave. The owner shoved her out of the door, and she went across the street to call the police. Carr stated that she was a former employee and referred to fraud that the business was doing regarding insurance. Carr stated that she has already filed a report regarding the company's action with the state. Carr stated that she quit because she was not being paid. I asked about the messages between her and Hawkins. She showed me a conversation on another phone with another employee. Untruth, untrue. This is the text message. This is the message. Text message. And you see, Hawkins was the last one that says, text my phone one more time. I never text her again. Based on speaking with all involved parties, this is Joseph Bailey, the investigation determined that Carr came into the business as an aggressor and committed a battery upon Hawkins by pushing her without consent. Further, Carr was asked several times to leave and did not, thus committing the offense of entering, remaining, and forbidden. Carr was issued a summons 76372, a battery, and LARS 1463, entry on remaining after forbidden. Carr then began to speak in tongues, and the interview was ended. I gave Carr her copy of the summons and walked her out as she continued speaking in tongues. Her speaking in tongues. This is on my police report, the police narrative by Detective Joseph Bailey. Her speaking in tongues verified both Hawkins and Wheeler's story. Okay, so if that verified Hawkins and Wheeler's story, how about reading right here on this narrative where it has two different stories, which should have been a red flag for a seasoned detective. First off, I want to highlight that I don't drink and have not taken a drink in over 30 some odd years. I don't do drugs, narcotics. I don't smoke, drink, cigarette, dip, or any other type of tobacco or any type of drugs, illegal, illicit, whatever. I don't, because that's not within me to do so. Anytime I've been on a narcotics was when I was prescribed narcotics when having a dental procedure done. So that's a lie. A surgery by my MD, not a psychologist, not a psychiatrist, a MD under the prescription of a MD while I was under their doctoral care. Okay, so since you believe their stories, since I was speaking in tongues, how about listening to the stark distinction between one lie and the other lie? Okay, listen to this. This is Hawkins. Carr refused to leave the business and began speaking in tongues. Hawkins went and opened the door, and Carr pushed her, so Hawkins pushed her back. Carr went outside screaming. Hawkins was scared, so she told all of her employees to leave, and she came to the station. How about Willa tells a different story? Willa advised that Carr came in disgruntled, who was fired for being on narcotics. Hawkins got up to leave, and Carr pushed Hawkins. Willa went outside to obtain a non-emergency number. Willa stated that Hawkins soon followed and left. She soon followed and left. How about Hawkins said that she stayed there, said, "Ma'am, please leave." She stayed there and dismissed all of her employees, and then she locked the business. I went outside screaming, and she later went to the police station. Which is it? Did she stay there and dismiss her employees, or was it Willa's story that she left and left me in the parking lot screaming, but didn't call the police on the scene? An hour and a half later, she went to the police station. Really? Does that really make any sense, Joseph Bailey? Because that's what you typed. Two different stories. And then you validated with the fact that you believe them because I was speaking in tongues. Yes, I do pray in tongues. Because I was building up myself on my most holy faith, praying in the Holy Ghost because of these lies and these allegations. I'd already gone a couple of months without being paid, only to find out from the insurance company, yes, I do have that letter from them, stating that the agency lost their license. So I was working for free. Okay, let me show you something else, Joseph Bailey. Let me show you something else. Since they came down there to the police station to patrol, they're saying that I was fired, or I don't know. They later said that you accidentally wrote that. I don't know which one it is, because I didn't have my day in court because they failed to show up for court. You see this right here? Let me show you this. Let me show you this. This is from the docket from when I reopened my unemployment case. You see this? This petition. See this? Filed with the First Judicial Court. Sandra called plaintiff resign. This is what the agency wrote. In which I did. I resigned because I wasn't getting paid. I was not going to continue using gas out of my pocket to go see clients for free. I'm kind, but there comes a point when you have to cut it off. Resigned from her position with Milestone Counseling Center on September the 7th, 2008. It says here, submitted her resignation via email that was addressed simultaneously to owner Kimberly Hawkins Chief Operating Officer Carla Foster, and Clinical Director Melanie Willer. And you see that? That's why I was not paid. You see that was filed October the 11th, 2019. Right there. Right there. But according to you, it says here that I was fired for fraudulent checks, Medicaid fraud, and been intoxicated on the job, September 2018. This is what you wrote on your narrative with the Shreveport Police Department. Okay. Also, you wrote, well, Melanie Willer stated that I was a disgruntled former employee who was fired for being on narcotics. It's right here. Right here. Right there. But when I reopened my case with the First Judicial Court, why does it have on here that I resigned? I'm not making this stuff up. If only you, Joseph Bailey, would have done a little more research, you wouldn't have been so quick to type all of that mess up, placing me in a hardship position where you got two people in front of you lying, where you have them at the police station, all at the patrol desk lying. And when I asked about the recording of their statements, I was told there's no tape, no recording. What's up with that? So you mean to tell me we don't have recorded 911 calls when people go down to the patrol desk, that those statements aren't recorded? Yes, they are. I'm not going to call the sergeant's name, but I did call down and I followed up with that, with the police department, with the person in charge. And I was told that there was a recording, but it was since deleted. And in addition to that, why did this drag on for so long so you could delete those recordings? This happened in 2019. This was just settled. Just settled. Just settled. It drug on a whole year. I went from attorney Felicia Hamilton. I went through attorney Lee Harville. And then I went through attorney Daniel Ferris, only to get to one that actually listened to what I had to say. He took time out of his busy schedule to listen to what I had to say, attorney Alonzo Jackson. He listened intently to what I had to say. No, I was not going to raise my right hand before God, swearing to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and lie on myself. It is clear as day that they came into the office to lie. They drove to the police station to lie. They were on the phone lying and didn't show up for court. Failed to show up in court. But you know how this is affecting me? It's still on my record. I went to pick up the minutes on today. And you see this? It's still pending. Still there. Still there. It's still there. Still on my record. And I said all of that to say, this judicial system, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. When a person can go into the police station, a person can go in the courtroom and make a mockery of the judicial system by lying. I mean, they haven't learned anything from the lie that cost a man his life. Emmett Till. I can't compare my situation to that because he lost his life behind a lie, whereas my character is on the line behind a lie. Only to go to the police station and to the prosecutor's office today to find out that I have to have this expunged off my record. A lie. Expunged. And then she had the nerves to obtain an attorney for the unemployment incident. And the attorney even typed on his document that I resigned. I'm not making this stuff up. I am not making this stuff up. He typed on there that I resigned. But then this is what the response was. The response was the narrative written by a police officer accidentally contains the word fired. Really? Accidentally contains the word fired. But we have the officer at the patrol desk that wrote fired. Detective Joseph Bailey wrote type fired, not once, but twice, because he heard it from Hawkins. He stated that he made contact with Hawkins and Wheeler. That's 3 or possibly 4 different officers, really. I don't understand. I don't understand how this got to this point. There's no discernment. There was no investigation done. It was just senseless. I even went to internal affairs and nothing was done about this. They found no fault with nothing that Joseph Bailey did, not even violating my First Amendment right, because it says here, after all those different stories, different lies is well, let me call it what it is. A spade is a spade. Different lies. Her speaking in tongues verified both Hawkins and Wheeler's story. That I battered Hawkins, refused to leave, and was fired because I was on narcotics, and fired because I was intoxicated. Shreveport Police Department, Joseph Bailey. Melanie Wheeler, Kimberly Hawkins. I don't know. I really don't know. But it makes no sense that I'm still having to deal with this lie. A lengthy lie that has dragged on, and now I'm being told that I would need to get an attorney to have this expunged. But as long as there is a God in heaven, the truth always comes out. John 8:32 says, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." I'm made free. They probably can't even sleep at night because of the lies that they told. And then again, they probably can because some people's consciences are seared. But I would just like to say this for anybody that has been falsely accused and you're dealing with this situation that you're dealing with, don't give up, don't quit, don't throw in the towel. Because the truth always comes out. And I don't know if they knew it or not, but they told the truth. They told off on themselves to go in there and tell the police one lie. And then with the higher court, they tell the truth. They tell off on themselves. I went from fired to narcotics to from fired to being an alcoholic to being the truth coming out. resigning. See that? Was filed with the First Judicial Court. And Joseph Bailey, you missed it. You failed me, you failed the system. You failed all of the people that you've investigated. You failed. And now I'm having to pay for your failure.